Hey, my name is Paul Calamere. This is your city, your voice. No, it isn't. Holy man, I'm so used to saying
Absolutely.
that. We're all wearing Hab stuff. It is your city, your voice, but it's Habsolutely.
It's Habsolutely.
Yeah, and you can talk all you want. It is your voice. I'll tell you that right now. Thank you for tuning in. What do you?
The Voice, isn't that like some show where people sing?
Yeah, turn around. And I'll start singing, and then you can leave the room. And then you can leave the room. Yeah, that's right. That's what the voice
Got you.
Yeah,
we want you.
Yeah, but this is Habsolutely. My name is Paul Calamere. This is my co-host, John Filion.
Bonjour, mes amis.
And our guest of honor, Drew Deeks, YouTube sensation. And
Drew Adika.
Yeah,
hey,
Drew Adika. And just a really great guy. So we hope... okay, we're going to do a little test here.
1, 2, 3.
Yep, okay, good.
How we doing?
You're looking good. Okay,
You're
we're going to give you a little bit more,
guys.
More volume here because...
A little bit of bass.
My headset volume
on the
went down.
88.
Let's leave at the video. Thank you guys for tuning in, everybody, liking our videos here.
Thanks, guys.
We're all Habs all show. You know that. That's what Habsolutely is all about. And, it's another day here in Habsland, and we have a couple more weeks before the draft. Everybody's getting excited.
Anxious.
Yeah, so let's start out with a little Habs draft trivia.
Oh, here we go.
More trivia.
Here we go.
This is where Drew Deeks learns. This is a learning process.
We all kind of learn sometimes on this.
Yeah, well,
you know what the answer was last time, right? When you did this, and I guessed it.
Yeah.
Out of thin air.
Yes, you did. You did
Patrick.
It was Patrick Waugh.
The Saint.
He's got the Waugh shirt on.
Head coach of the Islanders,
Yes.
temporarily.
Soon to
until
be.
Montreal.
Saint Patrick.
You got it.
You love Patrick Waugh, John. You really do.
Absolutely. How could you not? I mean,
just can't
that
imagine.
that wink. The wink.
The wink that changed the
The
world.
best. The best.
The wink that changed the world.
Yep.
Absolutely.
The hockey world, anyway.
Absolutely.
Yeah, really. So listen to this now. In the 1968 NHL Entry Draft, and this is a true or false question, the Canadiens had the first 3 picks.
Hey, it's Cayden Lindstrom. Just kidding.
Ooh.
It looks more like Kadri to me. Sadly, none of these first 3 picks scored a goal in the NHL. Is that true or false? They had the first 3 picks, and none of them scored a goal in the NHL.
Well,
considering
considering what happened last time, and it was like 11 players who scored 4 goals. I have to say none of them scored a goal.
But did Montreal have the first 3 picks in 1968?
Oh, did Montreal have the first 3 picks in 1968?
Yeah.
I'd say
that's the
no.
question.
No.
False. What do you say, Drew?
Maybe.
I don't see that as an answer here. I just see true, false.
True.
Okay, well, it is true.
Wow.
So
Sorry, guys.
the picks were
2 for 2 last 2 times.
Yeah, you're coming on strong.
The first person they picked was Michel Plasse.
Who?
Michel Plasse. He was a goaltender.
Who?
So that's why
that's a bigger who.
So
that's why he didn't score.
Exactly, Chuck. Exactly, John. Number 2 was Roger Bellil. He was a center.
Who?
And number 3 was Jim Pritchard, a defenseman.
If you're saying who.
Who?
And that was a pick.
Shit, where are these guys coming from?
Well,
John's crying.
that was a pick from the Oakland Seals, if you remember the
I
Oakland
remember
Seals.
California Golden Seals, who were, I guess, originally the Oakland Seals.
Exactly. So now you got to remember, these were the Sammy Pollock days where expansion had just happened and the lesser teams were vying for players. They were trying to get bona fide players on their team. It wasn't
Absolutely.
It wasn't like today they had to put up 4 players and all the other stuff like Vegas. Back then they had to actually trade or draft these players or trade them, right?
I think the NHL could only protect so many players, and a lot of players kind of remember Jacques Plante and Glenn Hall became the goalies for the St. Louis Blues.
Exactly.
So some players did get given up. That's probably the first year Marcel Dion came into the league.
Could be.
And the LA Kings sucked him up right away.
Yeah. Right, in the draft.
And I remember Red Berenson was the star for the St. Louis Blues, and he might have been a Canadiens acquisition at that point.
Yeah, you never know, the Red Baron. But that's how it had. And Sammy
he scored 30 or 40 or more, something like that.
And Sammy took advantage of all these different things, and he ended up accumulating all these draft picks.
He accumulated draft picks for players.
So,
but the problem is he had those assets, and he didn't make anything out of them.
No. Well, unbelievable. Or, the Habs came first in the league the year before, and they got these first three draft picks.
Well, so 1960, we're talking
67,
66,
68.
67, 68. We won the Stanley Cup that year.
That's correct. With a 42, 22, and 10 record during the season.
Très bien.
And we still managed to come out with the first three picks.
Beautiful. That's the best.
That's a testament to Sammy Pollock.
And we may still have been getting the first two players we chose from La Belle Provence.
Well, we probably did because Michel Place and Roger Belle-Île, so probably they were from the Belle Provence.
Yeah, because we had a deal for a little while where we got to choose two players right away from Quebec, no matter what.
Exactly.
That became like a grandfather clause for a little while.
So that's a testament to Sammy Pollock and the way he could move players around in that. Now, we won the Stanley Cup in that 67-68 season, beating out the St. Louis Blues in 4 straight in the final series.
Yeah,
And guess who the coach was at the time?
Who?
St. Louis Blues.
The coach is St. Louis Blues. I know.
St. Louis Blues?
I know.
St. Louis Blues.
I know.
What was the year again?
1967-68.
I know.
Expansion.
I know.
John? Do you have an answer?
No, it wasn't John.
Well, I know,
They
but I
wanted
don't
him,
know.
but he went to another team.
I'm going to say Scotty Bowman.
Bingo.
See what I mean? Like, I just
You
have
got
to
it.
rabbit
You
deep.
got it.
I was thinking it, and I thought it, and I sent it to your brain.
Yeah, we can
You definitely telekinesed it straight to me. Now, I should mention to you guys that somebody at my work gave me a signed Scotty Bowman hat that I have at home, and I'm going to bring it next show.
Is it
beautiful.
is it a Habs hat?
Yes, it is.
Absolutely.
Let's go.
See, back then it was East and West, and St. Louis Blues were the power in the East, or in the West. They got all these good players, including the Red Baron, and Scotty Bowman was the coach. I mean, and
Glenn Hall was the goaltender.
And it always seemed Montreal Canadiens.
I think Plant was there too at that time.
Scotty's got to go down as...
It also
Let's
seemed
go.
like Montreal Canadiens versus whoever. That was what it was. Montreal played whoever was top in the West and beat them.
As I recall, St. Louis Blues played the Minnesota North Stars. To the winner of that played the winner of the East.
And of course, the Toronto Maple Leafs in '67 won the Stanley Cup.
Cesar Mandiego was the goaltender for Minnesota.
Yep. Yeah, he was. But the year before, when Toronto won the Stanley Cup, Toronto Maple Leafs, they won it over the Montreal Canadiens.
I think that was the last year they won the Stanley Cup.
I would say that is correct.
That's a long, long time ago.
You guys always got to get your jabs in at the Leafs. I mean,
No.
God bless you.
I just like history is important.
Yeah, this is history.
Yeah, right.
These are factoids.
Facts are facts.
Facts are facts.
Uh-huh.
So, what about these Stanley Cup finals now? I mean, I said Florida's going to be a buzzsaw. Edmonton's going to be shut down. They got 1 goal in 2 games. They're down 2-0 in the series. To me, they're dead. I don't know about you guys. What do you think?
You sounded like Donald there for a second.
Yeah, the Donald.
Which Donald are we speaking
The way
of?
you said that. They're dead. Anyway.
Donald
This
Brashear.
is why you pick Florida over the Rangers, Paul.
Yes. No, I didn't. I picked Rangers over Florida. But I mean, I know your point here. But I'm willing to think that I think I'm right this time.
I think, yeah. Anyone who picks the Oilers, hats off to you, Drake. Your $500,000 bet that we couldn't care less about. No one does. Okay, that's maybe a little harsh, but I'm just not a fan. But whatever. He's not going to hear this. The point being, though, is that it's a pretty... I mean, I think it was puck drop. I finally submitted my pick to my friend. I'm like, I'm taking Florida for the Cup final. But that was before the game was even close to over. So Florida's ready. Their return... This is their second... Their back-to-back Stanley Cup appearances.
Back-to-back finals.
Back-to-back finals, which hasn't been done since Tampa Bay in 2020, 2021 against Les Canadiens.
It's only been done twice in the last 20 years.
And Pittsburgh was
Correct.
the other. So, yeah. So, It's fun watching Florida though, because I mean you gotta I think Paul Maurice is growing more of a fan base just as a coach, from a coach perspective.
Absolutely.
Strength.
You get authenticity from him.
He is so strong, though.
He is.
And
But he's real, though.
That
He's
team
real.
exudes focus.
This is not the Oprah Winfrey show.
Absolutely. This is the Habsolutely show.
So I as a team though, and you just kind of see how they're coming together, and is Barkov going to be healthy? I think he'll get back into the series here.
I think he'll play.
I think he'll play. It was a bad placement of the hit from Draisaitl.
It was
It was. I gotta bleep that out now, John. Come on.
Oh,
Yeah.
excuse me.
It was bad. It was bad. It was a bad hit. He should have got 5 in the game, and he should have got suspended. But he's
Absolutely. I can't believe he said that.
But he's Draisaitl, and he's also the star, and it's also the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Second star.
Well, guess what? Guess what? Draisaitl actually, in my estimation, has determined that Florida Panthers will be the Stanley Cup winner.
And why is that?
Because Florida now will not relinquish losing this series because of what Draisaitl did to their captain.
That's a good
End
point.
of story.
I think they're just outplaying them too.
Not only are they outplaying them, but it's done.
Mentally,
it's
they're
now
tougher.
over.
Mentally, Florida has the edge.
All these players,
Physically and mentally.
at the end of the game, they were all asked, what do you think about that hit? And they said, no comment. I didn't see it. No comment. I didn't see it. They are focused. They all saw it. They all know. They all have an
That's
opinion.
like what McDavid did.
They all have an opinion as to what happened, and they didn't voice it. They're going to voice it on the ice.
Yeah, when McDavid took that cross-check in the face in the Vancouver series, they asked him about it. Oh, it's just, it's hockey. It's the playoffs. It happens. He played the media perfectly. Remember I said that to you guys, right?
Very smart, yes.
So Florida just did the same thing.
Absolutely.
So it's smart. But it's going to be interesting shifting back to Edmonton. Paul Bissonnette, I think, tweeted out, or Ryan Whitney said that the series starts when the home team loses a game. That when the home team loses their first game. So basically that means if Florida wins, they go up 3-0, it's over.
Yeah.
So if Edmonton doesn't win this game...
Einstein, eh? He's an Einstein. I mean, of course they're at 3-0. It's
right,
over.
but it's a big home advantage in Edmonton. They're going to be doing everything possible in that fan base, in that building, in the Rogers.
The only if they want to win,
get them back
if they
in
want to win this series, the only thing they can do is kidnap the Florida Panthers so they can't come to the game.
Well, we know one thing though, that even if they take the next game, Florida, Game 4 is a hard game to close off. It's the toughest game to win to end the series, right? The deciding game.
Yeah.
So if Edmonton won that game, I wouldn't be shocked at all. But when they go back to Florida, forget about it. Forget about it. If they don't get swept, I mean, they might just get swept. I mean, they scored 1 goal in 2 games with one of the highest powered offenses in the league.
Yeah.
Edmonton had a great first game offensively.
Yeah.
Except they
lost.
made the biggest error of not putting the puck in the top corners on their shots.
Well, Bobrovsky, this guy he's in the zone. He's in the zone.
Well, he's on fire. He is totally focused.
He's actually fun to watch. And then this Florida team is way tighter knit. You can tell. I mean, on Edmonton, these guys are getting into individual battles and individual sort of approaches to how they're trying to make a statement in the game or make a big hit or even a dirty hit or Evander Kane getting pushed to the limit. He's injured also. Some of these guys are hurt, but Florida they are a tight knit group. You can see it, the way they're playing, the way they talk about one another, the way they talk about Bobrovsky, Barkov. I mean Sam Reinhart, and then you got Carter Verhaeghe, former Niagara Ice Dog, Sam Bennett.
Who is the biggest Florida Panther fan?
I would say Paul Maurice.
Wayne Gretzky.
Oh, is he?
Wayne Gretzky. Wayne Gretzky lives in Florida. He's been going to all those Florida games.
Oh, yeah.
He came on the first intermission.
He's not an Oilers fan?
No, he's not.
In his heart, he is.
Wow, yeah.
He
loves these Panthers because he watches them play all the time. And he said that the captain, who was injured, is the best defensive hockey player he's seen in 20 years at forward.
Wow. I didn't hear that quote.
That's a pretty
Markov
big,
has been
quote.
underrated for because of the market that he's in, he just doesn't get the spotlight, right?
Correct.
Right.
So watching him play is a treat, and he's my buddy Kyle Bukowskis, Hockey Night in Canada, interviewed him after the last 2 series wins, and he's a pleasant guy. He's calm.
He's actually a nice guy.
He really comes across that way, but he's a great hockey player. He's really, really good.
Well, you just have to look at the faces on the Florida bench, and they look like. Did you ever see that movie? What was it called? I don't know. I can't remember. But anyway, there's a Chaz Palminteri was in it, right? And A Bronx Tale, I think it was.
Okay.
And,
Yeah, I saw that.
And the bikers are in the bar, and he goes, "You got to leave," and they go, "We're not getting out of here. F off," and everything else.
Yeah.
And then he goes and he locks the door, and you look at the faces of these bikers. And he goes, "Now you can't leave," and these guys just went blank.
Okay.
And that's what the bench reminds me. It was 3-0. They outshot them 2-1, and they're just sitting there going, "Now you just can't leave." It just you can see it in their faces. And even the second game, they had a 1-0 lead. Then you look at the bench towards the end of the game, and they're just like, "Oh man!" You could just see it in their face on the bench. So we'll see what happens in Game 3.
Yeah, Game 3 will be it should be the best game of the series so far, for sure, because of the emotion that will be brought in by the Edmonton home crowd. And it's going to
they're home.
It's going to show if they can play with Florida or not.
Bobrovsky, in this series, has a 2.02 goals against average, a save percentage of .916. Last year, it was 2.78 and .915. So he's actually drilled down and is better than last year.
So you got to score 3 on them to win.
Okay?
The old Michel Therrien.
Mind you,
Got to score 3 goals to win a hockey game.
there was another goalie who played in the finals a few years ago who had a 2.28 goals against average with a save percentage save percentage of .924.
Carey
was
Price.
Carey Price.
Carey Price.
Carey Price.
How do you make out?
He didn't win that final.
I know he did.
Despite a good,
Despite
very
a
good,
better performance than Bobrovsky is showing.
that's pretty wild. That's just
So isn't-
Montreal not being able to score like Edmonton.
It's a team game, but you need an elite performance from a goaltender.
And the Conn
So
Smythe winner.
So we can't forget that. It's a team game, but you have to have an elite goalie to go to the final.
And Florida has the Conn Smythe winning goalie in net. So there you go.
he's up. He is right.
Oh, he's going to win it.
Right?
If they win this, they
I
win
didn't even
this-
Absolutely. And Carey Price would have been the Conn Smythe winner if Montreal had won that series.
Of course he would.
And what? Are you okay there,
No,
Paul? I know
no.
you're not. But
I don't
I'm
believe
not.
that for a
but
second,
that's
but
true. But that's true.
that's
and Carey Price.
would have been
see that.
Kakanyemi.
I'm hoping. Who? And I'm hoping Carey Price starts becoming the Montreal Canadiens goaltender coach. I'm not exactly sure what he's doing with
they
that
wanna trade
organization.
him.
He'll get a role
But
with the team. He's
I
gonna have a
want
role.
Carey Price to get a little more involved with those goaltenders. I want the technicality that Price has, which is what Bobrovsky has, being taught to all of our prospects.
Okay. I think Harry's going to have a role in the team in some way. They're going to try to get that guy a cup. They're going to try to get that guy a cup ring. I think they owe him a good chance at getting a cup
Absolutely.
ring for everything he did.
Drew, I think that's the most significant thing you've ever said in my
Thank you.
presence.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Truly
I don't know.
profound.
He said he liked Cocoa Puffs once.
I totally
cuckoo for those.
agree. I'm not eating processed cereal.
Oh, come on.
Done.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch?
Walnuts only.
Captain
Sorry.
Crunch.
What are you?
Walnuts
healthy?
with my with my Greek yogurt.
And shift over. We need to see you on camera more. Come here, please.
Come over here.
How are we on our time?
We're doing great.
Excellent.
I'm sorry to micromanage you a
want-
little bit,
so,
but
so let's
Darling, get closer to me. I think that was the song.
Ted
maybe
Darling.
a little bit more this way. Okay, you're good.
Okay, so
I was a little too close.
We just want everyone to see your face. We don't get to see your face now. We do. You notice the camera angle change.
happy.
So here we are. Anyway, go ahead.
Anyway,
So
Go ahead, Paul.
let's move on from this Carey Price nonsense because it's getting pretty deep in here.
Can I just say one more thing on it? No, seriously. I just think...
Okay, say
Seriously?
One more thing. I'll shut
okay,
up.
okay,
I promise.
okay.
After this, I won't. But you know what I'm saying. On this bit. So with that in mind, I just think that if this rebuild goes the way we expect it to, returning the Canadiens to the finals, if Carey Price is on staff and happens to get a cup ring, that would, like, even though he doesn't get it as a player, it'll just be so satisfying to see that guy lift the cup. Like, it would be surreal. And I just think that, you know, there's talks about his contract right now and how they should trade it maybe to another team.
They should.
So there is another reason to talk about him at some point.
But he'll be back.
But there's 2 years left on his deal, and it would help their cap if they were able to move on from it the way they did Shea Weber's. So that's all I'll say. I just think that Habs, based on the teams that they put in front of Carey over those years, it wasn't their best. I think Montreal's going to put a much better team on the ice by the time they return to the Cup final. I think they owe it to him. If he's interested in being on staff, which I would think he would, it would be pretty amazing story to see to cap off the 25th Cup. Go ahead.
And you know what? I have to say this. I have as many Stanley Cups as Carey Price rings. So that's a sad situation right there, isn't it?
It is.
it is.
Yeah,
It is.
so-
You know
but
what?
it's just
We're
reality.
going to go out and buy you one of those Stanley Cups so that you have a Stanley
I'll
Cup.
bring it in from my basement. It's my...
Okay, we'll get you
my
one of those
piggy bank.
Stanley Cups. I see high school girls walking around with Stanley Cups all over the place.
I gotta
So
get
I got a
we'll
Montreal
have, to, we'll have to
Canadiens-
get you one.
I'll have one more than Carey Price then.
I got a Montreal
Well, he might
Canadiens-
have a whole bunch. I'm sure the wife has a few.
It's Stanley Cups?
I'm sure she does.
I don't know what you mean by that. Okay, so I have
I
a
don't know
Montreal
neither,
Canadiens Stanley Cup
There's got to
piggy
be some
bank.
kind of symbolism there.
I'm going to bring it in. Just move on, Paul, already. Sorry.
Yeah, well, we were until
Before we
you
move
had
on, we
one
should
more
hit
thing to
record
say.
on the camera and redo another thing.
Oh yeah, it's 25 after.
Commercial break, folks.
Okay, we're back.
We're
So,
back.
Let's go to some draft rumors and trade rumors.
This
here.
is what we're here for,
now,
right?
Now I'm going to ask you guys to comment on these. these
Rumor
ones.
is the key here.
Yeah, let me give you it, and then you can comment on both of them.
I turned the light on.
Oh, that's even better. Marner for Habs 5th round pick,
Not going to happen.
and go. John,
Fifth
and Drew.
overall.
Not going to happen. Number one.
fifth
Every-
overall.
In fact, everybody says
That's right.
Marner. Actually, that Montreal don't have the assets to trade for Marner. That they don't have what the
wouldn't do it.
Leafs need.
He's got a no move clause. He will not go to Montreal.
He's not. I mean, I couldn't care less really where Mitch Marner goes, but it won't be Montreal.
It won't be Montreal, and it may be staying in Toronto at least this year. So
No Marner for 5th
And
pick. That's out.
he's definitely
That's
not
out.
going to the theater.
I don't even wanna
He's not going to the show.
get into
That's
that.
for sure.
Okay. Now, to me,
no, no, Mitch, no.
What's he
We
yelling
made
at?
fun of you enough on here.
he's losing it over here. Give him a Valium, will you? Give him some Adderall.
Celine Dion.
Straighten him out.
Valium.
So, Nikas, I think he's out because of the tricks that Montreal
Now,
played
hold
with
on.
Carolina for years, right? They played these tricks with Kokatniemi and Aho,
KK.
Yummy.
right? In the Aho affair. So they want nothing to do with this trade with Montreal. If it happens, it'll be via a third party.
It's not going to happen.
Right or wrong?
On tsn.ca right now, have a look at this. If you can see it, lean over and look.
I don't want to look. You tell me about
Off
it.
season watch-
made
calls can't on read.
big name options.
And it's a picture of
And
Newcastle
you know
and
what?
the Canadiens.
That's all
On the front
for
page.
headlines.
Yes,
that's,
it is.
That's to get eyes on the page to
And it's
sell
working.
ads, and it's working with you, but not with me. It's not going to
Look,
happen.
look who it is.
Who is it? Nikas.
It's Sting. Or not Sting. What's his name?
You too.
Billy Idol?
Billy Idol.
Bono.
That commercial I didn't...
Nice try, Drew.
Okay, next.
You want to, no, I'll talk Nikas for a second.
Okay, let's talk
There is
Nikas.
something to be had here, and that is nothing. No, I'm
Okay.
joking. So Darren Drager and
That
Ray,
settles that.
yeah, Darren Drager and Ray Ferraro of the Ray and Drags podcast and TSN, they said that Montreal has reached out, with like a lot of other teams have.
They've
on Nikas.
inquired.
They've inquired, which is they're just doing them doing
Due
their job.
diligence.
Yes. Now, what they didn't mention, though, because they did mention that Kent Hughes and the Canadiens are going to want to accelerate the rebuild before the Habs fan base gets impatient if they miss the playoffs again next year. But if they don't move the needle next year, they'll be even more upset. But it's the price. The price to acquire Trevor Zegras is apparently a lot higher right now than it is to acquire Nikas. Nikash, whatever. How do you say his friggin' name? But does it fit the Canadiens' timeline? Does it fit? Like, there's a lot of questions there. But they were just talking about him being a great play driver, and he could fit in well with this group with the Canadiens. But I mean, if Montreal drafts the center right now, why do we need to go after this guy? We got Kirby Dach, Nick Suzuki, and then possibly Cayden Lindstrom or Tij Iginla or Beckett Seneca's a ringer,
or Demidov.
So I mean, we'll get into those guys because those are more realistic. We're going to get one of them, by the way. We're going to get one of these young players.
Absolutely.
Do you guys know that? So Nikas, as far as that's concerned,
out.
His cap hit is $3 million right now. He's going to get a raise closer to the $7 million mark, apparently, if he gets a long-term deal with a team. So that being said, I think the Canadiens are going to look at that as a very last resort option, and I don't think it's even really much of an option. They're just doing their due diligence. So.
Listen, do you like my sweater today that I wore?
I do. It's got something on it that I don't recognize, though.
So it has Cargo Records on it. So Cargo was a Montreal music distributor that imported a lot of records. They started out small. Everybody used to like to buy imports from England, et cetera, et cetera. So they started bringing in more of the rock-orientated imports.
Right.
Some companies would bring in, music from the islands for people who had gone traveling and wanted Don Ho records, et cetera, et cetera. Cargo was more of a rock import distributor. At one point, they made a deal, and they picked up a label called Sub Pop for Canada distribution, which had a record on it by a band called Nirvana.
Okay.
So it was the first Nirvana album, which became huge. Now, Cargo had all these records that they were shipping, and all of a sudden, they had to bring in a lot of Nirvana records and ship them out. But the problem was, they didn't manufacture, and they had no money, and their cash flow started to drain. So now they had big debts. People weren't paying them. They were extending the bill 6 months to a year.
Hey, look at this guy.
Yeah.
Hey, all
Let's
right.
go.
They were extending.
Michael Ryder.
Michael Ryder was just here.
A Habs fan just walked by, everybody, just so you know.
Yeah.
Carry on, Nirvana story.
Thank you. They were extending the deals.
Hey.
They were extending the deal 6 months to a year. They didn't have the money, so they basically put themselves in a bad position and went bankrupt and caved, and somebody came in and grabbed Nirvana, of course. Now, in this instance, with the Montreal Canadiens, we have all these prospects that we've got. We've got like Lane Hudson. We've got Owen Beck. We've got the fellow from Finland.
Bashar. We've
got everybody.
Engstrom?
No, who's the defensive our pick last year, 5th round?
Ryan Backer.
Backer. All these
Austria.
All these players have to be onboarded, and they all have to be paid at one point. Like, not right away, not with entry level, but in 3 or 4 years.
So you don't want to overpay Nikas.
Exactly.
I know where you're going with this.
Exactly. Yeah. We have to start managing how we have our cap hit.
I have a question.
And that's why we're like, if we're going to stick with the players that we've drafted, we've got to have money for them, because we've already started paying people like Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield money. We got another guy named Slavkovsky who's going to be up for a contract pretty soon.
And Cayden Lindstrom.
We've got to be able to afford them into our cap hit. So that's why we're not going to bring in.
Soon.
It's too soon.
Okay.
You have a question? You had a question?
Yeah. So which one of the Canadiens right now on this roster with Kent Hughes and Jeff Gordon is overpaid?
Right now, Cole Caulfield.
Gallagher.
Cole Caulfield.
Oh, what you're talking about?
No, not that Mark Bergevin has signed.
Yeah, Cole Caulfield.
This current regime has signed. Which player is overpaid?
Cole Caulfield.
You think he's overpaid?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know.
Not by a lot. Not by a lot.
What do you think he's worth?
So he's getting 8 right now?
No, he's getting less than Nick Suzuki.
7.5 or 7.6.
7. So
I will tell you exactly to the dollar.
But he did get 28 goals last year or something like that, and I think he's going to get more this year. I gotta think that he's worth the money we're paying him.
I think
he hasn't even reached his ceiling.
I will say that after next year, I probably, if he doesn't work, I would say agree with you, John.
Yeah.
I think we got to give him another year. This year he was on a different path than last year, but
check.
But it could be. You could be right though, because I've always worried about the size of this guy.
Exactly.
That's not a factor at this point.
Do I sound a lot clear? Not at this point.
No? But do I sound a lot clearer now? I just changed the angle of the mic.
Yeah,
I can hear myself a lot better now. So,
Well, that's
anyway,
good.
sorry.
There you go.
I'm so glad you sound better.
I'm a narcissist.
in your headset.
I'm a narcissist.
No shite.
Hey, that's on the border. No, it's better.
That's Irish.
Okay.
So
So, do you want to know his cap hit before we
Yes.
criticize him more? So, Cole Caulfield's cap hit is $7.85 million.
you go.
Nick Suzuki is $7.875. Nick Suzuki, naturally, he's only a year older than Caulfield actually right now.
he's also a captain.
Yeah, he's also more dynamic.
He's also a leader.
He's also bringing a lot. He's a centerman too.
He also can play. He can do anything.
The point is, they have the exact same cap hit, 8.9% of the
Okay.
cap.
Ah.
So Caulfield, though,
they have the same because you just told me Suzuki was getting paid more.
yeah, by about how much? 25
$200,000?
grand. He's getting 25 grand more than Caulfield.
They're the same.
Does that make sense? No. Caulfield is overpaid.
Well, yeah,
Okay.
but
I think it's
Suzuki
too
signed-
early on that.
But Suzuki signed his contract first, so at the time that was no. But it makes a difference, right? Because at the time that was it. Caulfield came off, and they had to sign him for something.
Caulfield's also signed for 7 more seasons. This was only the first year of his
Yeah,
new deal.
Suzuki's what, 5 more now?
So I think
He's been
you're
2
way
in?
too early on that.
I think Caulfield, if we could have signed Caulfield for a couple million less a year, we'd be in much better shape.
Well,
With
I mean,
the cap going up, though, is that
it's
really
going
a
up
concern?
$5 million
Yes,
this year. So
it's going up how much this year?
about $5
$4
million.
million.
300,000, I thought.
No,
No,
four,
why
four
not?
or 5 million.
No, it's going up $4 million.
It's going 88
Yeah?
million or something.
88 million.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it's going to keep going up.
But Slavkovsky and everybody else that we bring on are going to keep demanding money.
And is Slav going to demand more
And
than Nick
I
Suzuki?
would actually pay Slav more than Caulfield.
Well, he's a first overall pick. I think that's not even a surprise.
Boy, I
Well,
don't know.
then he's getting
Can we
paid more
get-
than Nick Suzuki.
Can we get Slav over?
He could get $8
Can
million.
you pay Slav more than Suzuki and Caulfield?
I think so.
He's
I
better
think
than-
it's-
he's better
I think
than
we
Caulfield.
expect him to be
He has
the best
he has
player.
a bigger ceiling.
He-
I expect
yes,
him to
yes.
be the best player.
He should be the best out of those
Absolutely.
three.
So do you give him a bridge contract for 6 or 7 million for a couple of years, and then hit him up to 10, or do you?
No. If you can, you sign them
long-
long-term
long-term?
early.
Absolutely,
Because that's what
because
they-
he is your franchise player.
He actually is at the closest to it. He's the closest to the
He's looking like
franchise
it, right?
player. That's what they're projecting him to be.
That's what I
So-
see.
That's what they're projecting for Slav. So that's why they're saying, it's good to lock up your stars at a young age, because then it becomes a very, very good deal for the team should they outperform their contract. Right? So you look at
Absolutely.
Leon Draisaitl and what he's making. He's about to get a major raise, but right now, what's he making? About $8 million?
Jump change.
He's making what Slavkovsky might start making next year.
Absolutely.
There you go.
It's going to be
So-
interesting when they jiggle these numbers around. So let's get
So
back.
we went from the draft to contract
Oh,
talk.
yeah, you guys are deadly.
Yeah.
And,
Well, John's on
let's
fire.
go-
That's fine.
Let's go to Zegras. Seen
Well,
arm in arm walking with Marty St. Louis.
No. I'm not gonna.
I'm
You know
not
what?
just telling
I
you
shouldn't
what I
be.
saw.
I shouldn't be so quick to jump to it. It just depends on if the price goes down and they don't want Cayden Lindstrom or David Reinbacher for Trevor Zegras, then I'm listening.
It's not going to happen because everybody wants a bigger asset than we're willing to give. It's not
So
going to
do
happen.
we want to trade up to try and draft Cole Eiserman, or do we want to trade for Trevor Zegras? Because to me, they're a similar player profile at this point, and I want to get into Cole Eiserman today. I'll tell you why.
Okay.
But we don't have to get into it right this minute.
I'm
We
ready
can keep
for
on
Cole
schedule.
Eiserman because that sounds interesting.
Let's go.
Okay, well, basically, right now, my sort of thought last week with how the Canadiens are going to approach, trying to approach the draft, is that they're going to keep their fifth overall pick, and they're also going to, I don't know which side of this side of the mic seems to work really well. I don't know.
Either way, I'm watching the
Okay,
meter.
Okay. So
Right hand, left hand. Make up your mind.
I like it. I like John's feistiness today. I think we needed that on the show, personally.
He's ready to
'cause you have
roll.
some
I'm here for you.
You have some different takes, and I like it. I like that you say Cole Caulfield's overpaid. I love hearing that because it's a great opportunity to say you're dead wrong. So
But you have to prove it.
I know we do, and mainly Cole does, not me. But the idea I had in my head last week was, how do the Canadiens approach the draft? They're going to keep the fifth overall pick more than likely, but this idea popped into my head because you had Pierre Maguire Baldy saying that
Baldy Maguire.
they're going to be big game hunting and free agency. No, they're not. I don't know why he even said that because he's a very smart hockey man that knows a lot more than I do. But what I'm thinking is the last two drafts specifically, that's when the Canadiens have gone big game hunting, and they've added a very specific player to their roster, i.e. Kirby Dach, which that was a huge deal. That was a three-way trade that the Canadiens acquired another early first-round pick from the Islanders, traded it to Chicago for Kirby Dach, right? In fact, I want to pull this up from this deal because I'm very, very curious in terms of the Kirby Dach. But what I'm getting at is that the Canadiens, I think, could look to trade their 26th pick in order to move up to acquire another top 15 pick in this draft.
Is there somebody they're specifically looking to acquire?
Potentially. Now, you cannot fully rule out the Canadiens drafting a defenseman. You just can't. They did take Sam Dickinson out to dinner last week at the Combine. It's just a dinner. It doesn't
mean
a
lot
ton.
of people out to dinner. They generally don't take people out to dinner at Combines.
Well, they took out Cole Caulfield and then they drafted him.
That was 3 years ago.
That was 5 years ago, yes. But the point being is that they took Sam Dickinson, they took Cayden Lindstrom, they took Iginla.
Exactly.
Out to dinner.
Lindstrom and Gigla.
And they took Cole Eiserman out to dinner. I don't know if you heard that or not.
That I didn't hear.
So Cole Eiserman was touted to be almost as close to Macklin Celebrini in talent level at the beginning of last season. And what happened? He dropped quite a bit in the rankings.
Was he injured?
He was not in. Well, I don't think he was as injured as Cayden Lindstrom was.
Okay.
But his defensive lack of ability at the time, or his defensive, whatever you want to call it, prowess was scrutinized quite a bit. And then, so his coach pulled him aside and said, listen, do you want to be drafted higher and try to score as many goals as possible to improve your ranking, or do you want to become a better overall
hockey player
like Cole Caulfield did under Marty St. Louis this season? He said the latter. So he listened. And there was an article that came out talking about how Cole Eiserman worked on that side of his game. So the Canadiens taking him out to dinner, they already knew the player profile. They wanted to get to know the person. He's committed to Boston University next season, the same team that Lane Hutson and Luke Tuck just came from, and Macklin Celebrini just came from. It's a very well-trusted coaching staff that is helping develop Canadiens prospects that he's committing to going to next year regardless of whoever drafts him. And he's the best pure goal scorer in this draft available. What do the Canadiens need more than anything else? Goal scoring. Am I suggesting they're going to draft him? Certainly not at 5th overall. I don't expect that at all, especially with potentially now Demidov being available at 5, which is becoming more of a hot topic now. But the reason they did that, and this was confirmed by Arpon Basu and Marc-Antoine Gaudin of the Basu-Godin Notebook. They do a podcast.
Yes.
And it's actually got, that podcast is really, they're like Arpon Basu's hockey mind.
He's got a good mind.
It's actually underrated because if you really listen to him, he's excellent in the way he describes.
He kind of reminds me of myself.
He kind of reminds me of John Fillion, actually. So, but when it comes to that dinner with Cole Eiserman and why they invited him out, he felt like the reason that they did that was to assess his character, maybe ask him, do you agree with the criticism that you're getting about your game and why you've dropped in the rankings? They want to maybe find that out. And also to see if the Canadiens are going to make a play to trade that 26th pick for a package with defensemen, maybe another draft pick or two, maybe another player to move up in the draft. If Cole Eiserman's still available in the top 15, you could have yourselves Demidov or Lindstrom or Iginla and Eiserman.
So if you could get one of the three and Eiserman, that would be most excellent.
That would be addressing the forward need immediately.
That would be most excellent
with full team control for many, many years.
And obviously,
or maybe it's Berkeley Catton. Maybe it's Beckett Seneca. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Whoever it is, I don't care if it's. I'm not saying I don't care. If they feel Eiserman's the best fit and he can really mold into the player that he was at the beginning of the season, and all of a sudden dropped like crazy.
Well, they're looking for.
You can't teach goal scoring. Can I just finish my point there?
Okay.
Sorry. You can't teach goal scoring, but you can teach a player how to play better defensively.
Well, and you also can teach a player work ethic.
Yes. You can help them with their work ethic.
And that's what it sounds like that slipped with Eiserman is his work ethic.
And they've already started the process of correcting that.
Okay,
was he
So
with?
that's intriguing.
Who was he with, Eiserman? Who did he play for?
The U.S. National Development. Well, he actually, by the way, he broke Cole Caulfield's record
That's
for
strange
most goals scored.
that he lost that work ethic, because we know that development.
The
league-
U.S. National Development Team.
Yeah, and we know that's one of the top development teams anywhere.
He broke the
So
goal
it's
scoring
hu-
record.
It's hard to believe that he
Cole
would lose
Caulfield
his
had.
work ethic on that team. So obviously something happened, but
Exactly. It could have been a personal thing. We
could
don't
be.
know.
It could be, yeah, John.
You
you're
know,
right.
and so many, I mean, any professional person in the art scene, in the sports scene, their personal lives have an impact on what they do.
Yes.
And it could be something, and that's why you take somebody out to dinner to find out what is going on in the rest of their life and how it affects their ethic in their work performance.
Aren't the Canadians showing that that's what they're good at, is bringing in these guys that have redeeming qualities, that have a lot of talent, a lot of skill, and have the ability to draw more out of them?
And that's what Florida has done. Florida's been successful in doing that, finding players that weren't performing who were first-round selections.
Sam Reinhart?
Absolutely.
Buffalo Sabres are... Oh my
Absolutely, and we spoke about this last week when you weren't here, Drew, and that is what Kent Hughes's modus operandi is.
Is what are acquiring and developing players that have been...
If you were selected in the first round, there was something there.
Yes.
Okay,
correct.
let's say, like there's only 32 selections. Of the first 32 players that are selected, most likely they are the most likely to make it in the big league. So when they don't, what went wrong? Because it's not like you're flipping coins here. You've spent so much money, and there are so many people focused on the way these players play. Like, why did they get selected? There was a reason. And so if they don't live up to that expectation, what fell through the crack? And it could easily be something other than performance.
Yeah, it could be personal life. It could be anything.
Absolutely.
So speaking of Demidov, because you spoke of Demidov being possible, now a lot of teams are shying away from him because he didn't attend the combines. And also, this Russia thing, and people are starting to get worried about this Russia thing, right? Like they did
Absolutely.
with Michkov.
Absolutely.
So, do you think the Habs might not take him the same as they didn't take Mishkov?
I do. Do
you think so?
Yes.
I don't think they'll do. I don't think they'll
don't
pass
think
up
they'll do that
twice
again?
If he's available at 5, I think they'll take the risk.
Especially
if they're gonna acquire a Cole Eiserman or a Berkeley Catton or a Beckett Seneca, if they're gonna do that,
if Lindstrom is available
they'll take him
at 5, and so is Demidov, who are they going to take?
I'd take
Drew.
Lindstrom.
No,
Yeah.
Lindstrom. I say Lindstrom.
I'd say Lindstrom.
okay, that's fine.
Do you think Demidov?
I think they.
Well, why do you think Demidov? Let's see why.
Well, we saw last year Jeff Gordon talk to the whole group. He's the VP of Hockey Ops, right? He's built a team. He's built 2 teams before. So he knows how rare it is to acquire top talent. You don't get it through free agency anymore. You have to overpay through the roof and mess up your own plans for the rebuild if you're going to do that. And I believe what he says. And he was talking about Michkov last year. And he was saying to the group, let's make sure that we're sure we want to pass on this opportunity to draft this kid. And they did. They did. And they might have been right, because I think Reinbacher looks like a very, very good prospect.
Absolutely.
I think he was the best defenseman available last year.
Absolutely.
That's what the Canadians thought. That's why they drafted him. That's why they passed on Michkov. But Ivan Demidov, there's nobody... I mean...
And where is
this-
Michkov next year?
They haven't said for sure yet.
Right, and we know where Reinbacher is.
In Laval.
So that's one of the reasons as well
That's
we chose
another
him.
factor.
We
for
knew
sure.
where he would be.
Yes.
Okay.
With Ivan Demidov, if he's available at 5, if the other thing is the contract situation with SKA. So he has 1 more year left on his deal in Russia.
Right.
Correct?
Apparently they're very aggressive about trying to re-sign their players and keep them there.
Absolutely.
So if he re-signs, if he doesn't re-sign, they may not let him play or something. They're saying something stupid like that.
That's right. They're not going to use him.
They're not, which is just
So
sounds like Russia.
So he wastes a year
He would waste which we
in,
can't have that.
in development.
Yeah, which you can't have. You can't have that happen.
Not a great idea.
No. So if they figure that out, by the way, there is going to be a scouting combine for Russian players before the draft. I don't know if you guys heard that.
Didn't hear it.
There is a scouting combine happening.
When's the draft?
Friday, June 28th.
And when's the scouting combine happening?
Before that.
That narrows it down.
I don't know the date, but
Okay.
it was
Well,
reported.
Today's the 12th.
It's got to be pretty soon.
You got 16 days.
It's got to be pretty
in the
soon.
next 16 days.
It was
or
reported
less.
publicly that is happening for all the Russian
Yeah, and
prospects
somebody
available.
said the Earth is flat. Okay.
Okay, if you don't believe me, you look it up then. That's fine.
It could be.
So this scouting combine with Russian players is going to happen. The Canadians and other NHL teams will have a chance to meet with Ivan Demidov. They'll have a chance to meet with his agent, and they're going to have these discussions about his future. When is he wants to come to North America. That's one thing that should be clear.
Well, he wants
to be
he wants
here.
to buy some jeans, probably.
Maybe so, but he wants to come to North America, and that has been made very, very clear. You guys okay?
Yeah,
We're
fine.
very well.
Distracted, are you? So,
A Leaf fan.
yeah, it's a Leaf fan. So, I don't think they'll pass again on Demidov if he's available. It would be, if you thought Habs fans were upset last year, they will be
I don't know. Would they be
livid
upset if they take Lindstrom?
livid. Lindstrom has an injury history already at the age of 18. Now, is that been proved that he's going to recover fully? That's what the impression is that he left at the combine, that he's going to recover fully. But if you have Ivan Demidov available at 5, because all these top-ranked defensemen are projected to go in the top 5, and you pass on Ivan Demidov, you're not going to get another chance ever again to
Well, they're
draft
saying that
talent.
he played in the second-tier league in Russia, not the
He
top
wasn't
tier.
playing against top-tier players. That is true.
So, I mean...
And
So-
Reinbacher, that's what he was doing. He was playing against top.
He was playing
against men.
He was playing against men. Yes. So I
So-
think if they can expedite that process, but the pure raw talent is there.
Yeah.
In spades.
It just looks like all these little things are starting to add up to him.
All the doubt, right?
Like he was like second. That was
He's
it.
still second.
3 months ago.
He's still second right
yeah,
now.
but
I
3
think-
months ago there was none of this these little chinks in
Of
his
course.
armor.
I think the doubt is in him coming to North America.
It's not in him as a player, and if that's the case,
No.
draft him.
It's
Get him here.
It's about him
Okay,
coming
well, that's
to.
fair.
It's about him coming to North America.
That's fair. Let me give you another name here.
I'm saying this with full disclosure. I have other players available I'd be just as happy with. So,
Let me give you another name here.
okay.
Kako Capo.
Capo Caco.
Capo Kako.
Let's keep talking about the draft.
Okay, we'll move on. Capo Kako.
No, but I have something
he's
for you.
once again being tied to the Habs though.
Well,
with Hughes trying to make a big play.
He's a player that we've talked about for sure as being a Kirby Dach deal. He may not be that expensive in an acquisition either. But I just want to talk to you guys about this is the top 70 rankings from Jason Bukala at Sportsnet. It just got released yesterday. They've got some interesting picks in this list. Macklin for the top available prospects.
Draft.
For the
Right.
draft.
Okay, so
The top available prospects in the draft. So they've got Celebrini. They've got Demidov 2. Okay. At number 3, they've got Lev Shunov. Okay. They've got Buyam, another defensive
Booyah.
prospect, available at 4. Number 5, Tij Iginla.
I'm fine with that.
But hold on. There's more. Number 6, Silyev. Number 7, Zane Perek. These are both defensemen.
Mm-hmm.
Number 8, Berkeley Catton. Number 9, Cayden Lindstrom. So in this list only so far, this isn't Bob McKenzie's list, the most trusted. Cayden Lindstrom is now at number 9.
Well, a lot of people thought Lindstrom was going to go in the top 4, actually.
And he still could.
And that's fine.
There's growing
I've
interest.
always said Iginla would be fine with me to be our number 5 pick. So I'm good with either or.
I think, and so am I. And I should mention, though, that I think the Columbus Blue Jackets, I think Anaheim needs a defenseman. That's the really needs a defenseman, especially after trading Drysdale to Philly for Cutter Gauthier. With Columbus and other teams, I think that meeting Cayden Lindstrom and saw the size of this kid, saw that his health is recovering well, I think Columbus got a lot more interested in Cayden Lindstrom at this combine. That's what I think. So I wouldn't be surprised if Lindstrom was gone before 5, And that's why Demidov could fall into our laps at 5 if Chicago
or
it's all Chicago. It still comes down to Chicago
or
and what
we
they're going to
take
do.
we take Iginla.
Yeah, I know, but it depends on who's available. That's what I'm saying.
well,
If Demidov and Lindstrom are gone before 5, what if Sam Dickinson's in our laps or Iginla? Who do you take?
Iginla.
Iginla. Okay.
Definitely.
Well, Iginla is sucking up a lot of the news right now.
He is.
So.
His personality, like, he did one of the longer interviews with the media.
Yeah.
He's Iggy's son. You can tell. He's got the personality. That part is not. He's a very likable kid.
You know, he's got the work ethic.
He's got the work. Yes.
He's got the talent.
He's the guy.
It's hard to argue with that from the fan base perspective. From the Canadiens' perspective, though, is he the best player available? We don't know yet.
He might be.
He might not be the best player available at number 5, but we have to draft a forward. If we draft a defenseman, I will be disappointed.
Yeah, I think we all will, and that's fair.
And so, if you know, it's Lindstrom or Iginla. That's who I see.
Or Demidov?
No, I don't see Demidov being drafted by Montreal.
No.
What if he's available, though? And
If he's available, I don't see. I think they're going to draft.
What's your biggest reason for that, by the way?
Well,
My biggest reason
That's fine,
is
yeah.
the fact that I think he's going to sign another contract to stay in Russia for another 3 or 4 years.
What if he doesn't?
We don't. Well, we won't know that.
Okay.
We won't know that.
But is that the only factor?
That's the biggest factor for me.
But what about the talent, though? We saw what happened with. I keep talking about.
You know what? You can draft talent, but if talent isn't playing for you, it doesn't really matter.
Or in your system.
Exactly.
Well, so do you want to waste your draft pick on a maybe, or do you want to spend it on a guy who's going to like get Ginla or whatever?
I
who's
want
gonna be
something
there?
that's tangible that I can hold.
But Demidov isn't a maybe. He's a definitely. He just definitely won't be available right away.
And I think it's too long to wait.
Okay.
I don't know.
I think we need some people too. At one
It's all about
point,
Chicago, right? At this point.
Okay, we're back, and I think we're.
So we just talked about who's. So Seneca and
I think
the jury's out on them in the top as the 5th overall pick. We're not taking Seneca or
I don't
Berkeley
think
Cat.
so. I think there's just better players that are
better
available.
players.
There really will be though. Like there really will be.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
think.
I
I don't know about Seneca. I don't know what his ceiling is. A lot of people like him.
Well, let me put this question to
Obviously, certain ones.
you. You're a smart guy.
Somewhat.
So
Who said that?
listen,
Talk about ball busters, eh? This
somebody-
guy's number 1 for
somebody
me.
told me that.
We're going.
I love it.
But now in these combines, all the big names did crappy. They didn't do anything. But
You mean fit in the physical test?
yeah.
Oh, I don't care about those.
But Eric Emery and Jeff Luchenko,
Yes,
they,
that was expected,
they
though.
did very, very well.
Emery was a
so,
machine.
so my question isn't about that.
Okay. All
My
right.
question to you is, do you think that changes the outlook for the scouts and the people drafting because of the combines and the results of their athleticism at all? Do you think that changes any opinions on where they stand in the pecking order? I mean, Emery's 22nd and Luchenko's 20th.
No, what
Do
it
they
does.
make 'em more desirable?
What it does is it reinforces somebody's pick already. So if you've chosen one of those two and they have amazing results during the combine, you go, yes, I'm making the right move. That's all
Yeah.
it does. It's like just another little bit in the big overall picture of how you combine to make your decision, and it's like what 1% maybe.
It's all about the interviews.
Yeah, and all the performance of all the games that you've gone and sent scouts to watch
Yes,
for the
that's right.
last 4 years.
So Demidov didn't show up. He didn't have an interview. So how do you...
They're going to have
do you-
one, though. That's what I'm saying.
How do you put it in there? When are they going to have it, Montreal?
It's not in Montreal. It's going to be. He's in Florida.
Talking to somebody in Russia, or
Well, Demidov's in Florida. Let's be clear. He's in North America right now.
what's he doing in Florida?
He's rehabbing his knee injury.
And he didn't. Oh, he's got an injury.
He's got a knee injury. So there's another reason why.
There's
If he would have
another
showed up there,
reason. Yeah.
yes. But they are going to have
another
an
injury.
interview.
Played in a lower league, and might not even come to the NHL.
Well, he's going to come to the
Absolutely,
See, the more we get through to talk,
absolutely. The more we learn.
the more we learn, and the more you make more sense.
The more Drew learns, the more you know.
Yeah, exactly. No, but why don't you want Demidov? Why don't you want to pick Demidov? That was a question asked.
Absolutely.
And here's 3 things now that we've uncovered
You know what, though?
through our dynamic investigation. On
Yeah, well,
Habsolutely.
This is investigative journalism at its finest.
This is the surface level at best. Surface level at best. Let's
Next
be honest.
episode.
Well, that's all we have.
Next episode, the Manson murders. Okay.
He was guilty, and he's dead. So, where do you want to go from here? I think it's interesting.
Well, I don't know. I think that basically it's just a matter of wait and see now. And as we get more news, it changes our minds a little bit of exactly where the Habs are going to go, right? We don't know what they're going to do.
They know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing, and we have to trust them for that.
We do.
They know what they're doing. They played it out. All the options have been played out. It's
Expect the unexpected is what people say with Kent Hughes. Based on the way they made trades last
and
year.
the only thing that can be if another team unexpectedly says, I've got this asset that I'd like to make a trade for.
Yeah, for the 5th round pick.
But that's just not going to happen.
Well, no. If you mean the 5th overall pick?
5th overall
No,
pick.
I don't think that one's being moved. I think it's going to be the
5th pick.
26th pick. That is.
But I like the idea of if you went by
maybe another first rounder
if you went
next year.
down the charts and who was this? Who was the guy you were saying? Eiserman.
Yep.
If you actually sought out Eiserman and you looked at, most people thought he was going to go, let's say 14th. You find out who has the 14th pick, and you start to say, hey, what can we do?
There's our 26th.
There's also talk the Canadiens may be willing to move their 5th pick down
I don't see that happening.
if the player they don't want isn't there.
Well, who's going to be that player that's not there? We said there's
Lindstrom?
There could be 3 players there.
Lindstrom, Demidov, maybe Demidov. Let's just say Lindstrom and Demidov aren't available. And
I mean, we're arguing.
Or Demidov is available, but they don't want him.
We're arguing over like 3 players of who they're going to take 5th that we know they want. So I don't see that happening.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like it would be trading that away for a higher pick.
What
Like
has
a
been
lower
made
pick,
clear,
I should say.
what has been made clear though is New Jersey and Buffalo at 10 and 11 have stated that they're open to moving their picks, and they've stated that publicly. Now, any team can move any of their picks at any point and be interested. They're all available. The phone is open for anybody, but they've made it public. So, whatever, take what you want from that.
Well, if
Buffalo,
they want our 5th, they're going to have to throw something in with that.
No, I'm
Absolutely.
No, I'm
Something
saying I'm not saying for the 5th. I'm saying if Montreal would be interested in trading up from 26.
Oh,
to,
well, yeah. Well,
but that's
anything
pretty
like
high. They're gonna have to trade, and Buffalo needs a top forward player, like not just they need a top forward roster player, which we don't have to trade to them right now.
What do you mean? We got Brendan Gallagher.
Really?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do. He's not who they don't want him.
Josh Anderson.
Mike
They
Matheson.
probably don't want him either.
Mike Matheson.
There is the name that is making the rounds right
Yes.
now with regards to them possibly moving up to what team was it that was I think it was
You're talking about.
I think that was for
moving-
Nikas. That was for Nikas. Carolina would actually be the one interested if there was a
Yes.
deal for Nikas, it would be to Carolina.
Mike Matheson.
Yes. So that's where Mike Matheson's name has come up. If you trade him now though, don't expect them to move the needle next year. I'll tell you that right now. They will not get better by moving Mike Matheson this year. So that we already said Nikas deal wasn't going to happen anyway. There's another reason it won't happen. So we don't even have to get into that, in my opinion. But what else you got?
Well, that's basically about it. We need the 3 stars from the last week from John, or unless he's got
I have
something
the
else.
3 stars for
Okay.
for this semaine.
The semaine dernier.
Yes.
Okay.
So the number 1 star,
Yes.
you're going to be surprised. Snoop Dogg.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Do you know why?
Well, he's got something to do with
I
the
don't know
Habs
why.
there. He was doing something with the Habs. I read about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he was doing something with
So
the Habs.
Taking
Snoop
pictures
Dogg.
with George LaRock, big deal.
He has played recently at the Bell Center, and he has Death Row Hockey. And Jack Guy, George LaRock, and Chris Nyland are all
yes.
Knuckles.
established players and from the Canadiens roster, and they're all part of Death Row Hockey. And so
What a
he's
name.
out there marketing T-shirts and merchandise with Canadiens logos on it with these players.
Yeah, I saw that.
I think that's fabulous.
Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty
Very
cool.
cool.
Snoop
I was
Dogg's
surprised by
well
that
known.
too a little bit. I knew that Snoop was a big hockey fan.
He's a huge sports fan.
He
Yeah.
likes the Habs.
Coaches football, and he loves the Habs.
You know what? I didn't. Does he really?
He coaches football, like he's coached his son's football team and stuff like that.
No, but does he really love the Habs? Is what I'm asking.
who doesn't love the Habs? How could you even
Yeah.
question that? Who wouldn't love the Habs?
Even Celine Dion loves the Habs.
Well, of course. Celine was born in Hab country,
Absolutely.
so I've seen the church where she got married. So
Her heart
So have
must go
I.
on.
her heart must go on. Unfortunately, yes, yeah. That became a sad reality for her. So
Next.
no, I'm not trying to insult her in any way. Like Celine's
Sure.
a special person, but special talent,
Absolutely.
and she's ours. She's ours, America. I don't care if she sings "America the Beautiful"
She's not
I don't care
Canadian.
if she plays in Vegas.
No.
or "God Bless America." No, I'm kidding.
Valtteri Bottas.
Who?
Okay.
Valtteri
Who the
Bottas.
heck is that? Paul Lemire.
I have no idea.
Well, he was just in Montreal.
your friend. Who-
he was just in Montreal
He is, but I don't know
for
who
the
he is.
Formula One. He's a race car driver in F1 for Saab.
Okay, we just had
And
F1 in
he
Montreal.
played a little bit of hockey with two guys named Newhook and Jacky.
Wow, there you go.
So he was at the Montreal training facility,
Yep.
and he
CN
donned on
Sportsnet.
number 77, and he can actually skate and put the puck in the net.
Well, how about that?
So nice to see a race car driver hanging out with the Habs on Formula One weekend.
There you go. See, now that is something you out there in Videoland never even knew. I'll
He
bet.
even drove
And you
the
already forget.
Zamboni.
Did he?
Yes.
I drove a Zamboni. That's what my
Well,
first
maybe you
dream
can be a
was.
Formula One driver then.
Yeah.
No.
Did he
No.
drive it against Gretzky and McDavid in that race they had there?
I don't think
Against
so.
Barkov, where he lost.
So
Can
that's
I-
my second star.
Go ahead, finish your stars, and then I'll talk about what I want to talk about.
Okay.
And
Okay.
the narcissist. And then
This is my show.
the third
is.
star. Now this is absolutely the third star.
We love you.
Uh-oh.
Josh Anderson.
I got him down.
Getting married.
He got married in Italy.
Italia.
Took the whole team almost, except Jacky and Newhook. They had
took-
to hang with Botras.
He took Nick Suzuki
And,
and overpaid Cole Caulfield.
And Paola Finizio, I believe, is his wife now.
Wow. Congratulations to Josh
So,
Anderson.
Congrats, Josh. We'll see you next season. You
I
better
had
be
him
better.
down. I had him down too.
He admitted he sucked.
Well, I
He
think
admitted he
now that he's married, he's really going to be producing.
Yeah, because if he don't score, he's going to score one way or the other.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, put the puck in the net.
Okay.
Scoring.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all
gonna
like to score.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, actually, once you get married, you don't score. That could be a
Well,
problem.
That's a you
I
problem.
don't
then.
know about that.
That's a you problem. All
I
right.
don't know about that
That's
one.
a pretty well-known fact. I
That's a
think.
pretty well-known myth.
That's a myth, exactly.
That's the problem.
That's a myth in my
If you
house.
stop trying, it's your fault.
It's the mytheth.
It's the
The mytheth.
The myth.
It was more fun than Habsolutely.
Nobody.
Nobody.
Okay, so what do
We
you
should
got?
probably end right there.
What do you got, Drew? What do you got over there? You were going to say something here.
Oh my gosh, the sexual innuendos that on this family-friendly show that we get into. It's okay. Real sexual health is good for you. Okay, so we'll say that.
Absolutely.
It's a taboo subject for no reason. That's why we're all here. So anyway,
But we know. That's all I'm going to say.
okay. I guess I'm still a lot younger.
You are.
Okay. The point is,
You'll learn.
the point is,
You don't score. You don't score.
that's right, and that's why the
You
Canadians
gotta
should.
shoot the puck to score the goal. That's all I know.
That's
And
all I
then
know.
that's exactly why the
And
Canadians.
you know, I'm always telling you that you put the puck in the net. Put the
I know.
puck in the net.
And you know who
Shoot.
who puts the puck in the net? Cole Eiserman. So the Canadians should draft him.
Yes, before he gets married.
Yeah.
I like that move. I like the idea of taking that draft pick, moving it up, and picking up Eiserman. But
Lindstrom and Eiserman would be a huge splash.
absolutely,
A huge splash.
I love that.
So come on. You had something you were going to say.
That was it.
Oh, okay.
I love that.
Okay, no, what it was, I have this article here
Okay.
with the top 70 prospects, which has shown Cayden Lindstrom drop, Iginla rise up, and it does tell them their projection at the NHL level. That's all I wanted to share.
And
Okay,
I
okay.
would rather take a shot on Lindstrom, okay, then take a shot on Demidov.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
I hear you loud and clear. So the NHL projection. Go ahead.
No, you finish up. Go ahead.
The projection for Demidov, we'll start with him, is a top line scoring forward. NHL projection. So first line scoring forward.
Okay.
We're assuming we're doing this based on if the Canadiens pick a forward. Okay, so
They will.
I've said it several times already that they may not. It still may not happen this year, but it's a higher probability.
I think so.
The NHL projection at number 5 in this list for Tij Iginla is a first line forward.
Perfect.
Doesn't say specifics and what he'll bring, but it says first line forward. Okay.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
And we go to Berkeley Catton at number 8 on this list, who's risen on this list according to Jason Bukala, is a second line forward. Okay.
Okay.
Cayden Lindstrom, we'll just keep going. Cayden Lindstrom at number 9 on this list. NHL projection is a top line / second line power forward goal scorer.
Yeah, I love it.
Okay.
I love it already.
Beckett Seneca, number 11 on this list. NHL projection, second line skill forward with power. That's like with power, by the way, is the icing on the cake for
Second
his
line.
second line. Okay. So think Kirby Doc, Beckett Seneca, and Newhook, or Slavkovsky, or whatever player you want to insert there. Next on the list is Cole Eiserman. Second line goal scorer, power play shooter. What do the Canadiens
Excellent
need?
asset.
Excellent asset. And I want to read Cole Eiserman's, his profile. It's very short.
Is he paying you?
He's not paying me.
Okay.
We could be way off our rockers, and the Canadiens just never pick this kid. I'm just a lot more interested all of a sudden. Yes, because they took him out to dinner and wanted to find out more about him and everything. But it's this idea that we project players' long-term NHL production too soon, for one. But he's going to be going later in the draft and could be out. If you redraft years later, he could be in the top 10 or 5. For all we know, right? Here it is on Eiserman. Eiserman is easily defined. He's a pure shooter with arguably the best shot in the entire draft class. NHL teams are always on the lookout for more goal scorers. The issue with Eiserman is his risk-reward approach. He has a long way to go playing with 200-foot detail that the pro game requires from even the top scorers. He's fast enough and strong enough for the NHL. So, based on that, can he learn to be a better 200-foot player and work on the details of his game? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Can you teach him to be a better goal scorer? No, you can't. He already is that. It's his gift.
There you go.
So for me, I'm just more interested in adding more scoring, possibly in 2 ways, in the fifth with the 5th overall pick, and with whatever pick the Canadiens are able to move up to if they need to in order to get Cole Eiserman. I don't know that it's just Cole Eiserman, but something is really pulling me. It's probably the media narrative. It's probably me playing into everything that's being put out there, the fact that they took him to dinner and all this stuff. But that goal scoring thing that we just keep coming back to over and over about what the Canadiens need, and the power play specifically. Owen Beck can be on the second line power play. Machar can be on the second line power play. A great playmaker. Machar is underrated. I talked all about him in my last video with Shane Gamal.
Yeah, I watched
Cole caught the story of two Coles. Like, they're both goal scorers. Caulfield's becoming a better playmaker. But you want to have a top power play in the NHL, Cole Eiserman is a player that will help you do that.
Well,
I believe that.
I don't disagree with you, because this is something that Hughes and these guys do. They move up if they can, right? So if they want that guy, they will definitely make a move, and they'll make a deal for it, right? Last time we made a deal for
Alex
a guy named
Newhook.
Right?
And it could,
and we haven't seen Newhook's ceiling yet.
No, not
no,
even
and that's
close.
good news.
Not
But I
even
just
close.
think
Very good news.
I just think if you're going to address the top 6,
I can understand. I can dig it.
Yeah, if you're going to address the top 6,
I can dig it, my brother.
We haven't seen Kirby Doc's ceiling yet.
No. But you add in players like if you sincerely add in Lindstrom and Eiserman, what else do you need to add to the forward group?
I don't know.
The top 6 is set. The top 6 is set.
Maybe Henry.
Oh, hungry?
Oh, Henry chocolate bar
But
for energy.
no, seriously. Like if
Once
you
got
if you
that,
add
what do you need?
if whoever it is, let's just say it's not Eiserman. Let's say it's Seneca or Berkeley Catton or something. If you add in, like you're suggesting, say Iginla or Lindstrom,
Right.
let's just pretend Demidov's not there.
Yep.
And then you add in one of Seneca, Eiserman, Catton. That I did say all those three guys. If you
Yep.
do that, what else has to be done to address the top six in this rebuild?
I don't think nothing because we have.
Well, then you
all the
got
other
you
stuff.
you just got to start developing. You need an elite
But you
goalie.
need to acquire-
you still need to acquire an elite goalie,
Well, they might have that already in Jacob Fowler.
but might doesn't work. And you still
Okay.
need to probably, I'd say, in about 5 years' time, make a trade for a top forward.
Okay, and that's 5 years. By then, we expect them to be pretty good,
Yes,
like really good.
absolutely.
So this to me saves you having to go out in free agency to add Kirill Kaprizov in 2026 if he becomes available. Like I keep saying,
I'm not sold on free agency. I don't think Hughes is going to make.
I
a move.
think
he's going
this
to
is
make
the
a
formula
trade.
right here.
He's going to make a trade between now and the end of the month before free agency comes up, and it's going to be a trade for somebody good.
But even the next two
He's
free
moving.
agencies in 25 and 26, like
Yeah.
why are we waiting? I think they're identifying that they can address these needs right now, and I think they're going to do it.
Yeah, and it just adds more weapons.
Next year's
in
draft
the-
class?
in the,
Who's got the sixth
Yeah.
round? Who's got the 6th-round draft pick?
6th overall?
Yeah.
Utah.
Utah. Would Utah make a deal?
Sure.
most likely.
So
Let's make a deal.
here's what I'll say to you now. So if you could have the 5th and 6th pick and trade your what's your pick
26.
If you could trade 26 and a couple of acquisitions or prospects or whatever to pick up the 6th pick, and you had 5th and 6th, and Demidov was available, then I would take him.
Because what if Demidov keeps dropping, right? Like
see
Michkov,
what you-
Michkov didn't get taken until 7th or 8th
Right.
with Philly
Well,
last year.
Philly.
But
Yeah,
but
Philly got-
but if you believe that highly in Demidov and think this is a once in a lifetime, like take a shot.
I eliminated him from the like it could
So
be. Yeah.
so grab him as well as Iginla or who's the other one?
Eiserman,
Not Eiserman.
Seneca?
No, Lindstrom.
Lindstrom.
Either Lindstrom or Iginla. Grab one of those and Demidov. That'd be pretty nice too.
Yeah, like that's what I mean. Like anything can happen. Like it could. The thing about that though, and I just remember what my friend Shane said to me. He's like, teams are going to be very, very careful to trade picks out of the top 10 though. So I think that's why I'm thinking it's more realistic that they'll try to trade for a top 15 pick and still get their guy at 5.
Yeah, we shall see.
Yeah, we shall see, and that's the best way to.
This
end
was
it.
fun. Can I just say that this was fun?
It's always fun.
It's always fun having you here, Drew.
Drew Iginla.
Drew Iginla.
Drew Iginla.
That's a nice ring to it, actually.
I
think Tij is going to name his first kid Drew.
I was
so.
just thinking that.
Drew Iginla.
I was just thinking that.
We have such good options at this draft.
Especially in
I'm
Drew
so
Iginla. I
excited.
like that name.
And I want to let you two know right now. And for you folks also, when I'm not here, we are going to talk about posting Habsolutely shows with John and Paul on my channel when I'm not here, by the way.
Absolutely.
Okay?
That's
So I'm putting that out there.
fabulous.
We just had to fix the camera angle, and then we're good.
That's great.
We want to have our beautiful faces in the shot, namely you two, because I won't be here. So I want to invite you guys to...
Okay.
And we're going to be still in Niagara Falls. Don't get too
Oh,
excited.
I
We're not
thought
going
we.
to
Wait a
Vegas.
second. I
Free
thought we were
drinks.
going to Montreal
Well, that's next.
Drinks.
or Russia
One step at a time. And no,
for
we're
the
not
combine.
Free drinks.
The
Free
com-
drinks on St. Catherine's.
The Russian, yeah.
I thought we were going for the Russian combine, and I think that's working in the fields,
Street. Yeah,
harvesting the wheat.
Oh my
it,
gosh, this
there.
guy. The combine is going to be in North America. The Russian combine will be in North America, John. Okay. But what I was going to say,
We're here in the fields. The Russian
out here in the field.
Very good.
All right.
old school.
You like your music, right?
I like old school.
And we
too.
were supposed to interview Sam Roberts But we
That
still
was,
might.
That was a possibility, but it will happen.
There is going to be an interview most likely in the next year or so with Sam Roberts, John, and myself. If Paul wants to come tag along, he can do that.
Sure.
Oh, definitely.
But Montreal native, you guys know Sam Roberts.
I know his
He's
sister.
a Habs fan.
I know his sister, Julia.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that one of his songs?
Pretty woman. Walking down the street.
Where have all the good
pretty
people gone?
woman. The kind I like to meet.
Yeah, that's Julia Orbison.
Okay, so what I was going to try and do...
Okay, what are you going to try to do?
Juadica.
Hey! I like that one.
Drew
there it
Iginla.
is.
Drew Iginla.
Drew Iginla.
Is the record on still?
Yes, it is. I keep checking, too.
Let's go. We got to get out of here.
So this is our longest show so far. But it's been good. It's been full of lots of passion. So
Absolutely.
It's been a
lot of fun. So
a lot of fun.
if you gentlemen would like to join me for the live stream of the draft from on my channel, it'll be
cool.
live. You're both invited to join me. I would prefer to do it in person, the three of us like this, and then have the draft on the computer over here if we can,
Perfect.
right here in the studio or at my place. So I want to invite you both, whether it's in person or online, to join us for the live stream of the draft.
Sounds fabulous.
All right?
Well, see, I got the presidential debate on.
On June 28th?
Yes.
Friday,
is
June
the
28th?
draft going to be over before the
that's a
debate?
tough-
Are you kidding right now?
No.
Okay.
That's a tough
Because
call.
the draft's on at 7 and the debate's on at 9, so I think
We'll pick our fifth overall by then.
Yeah, that's what
That's
I
a
mean.
tough call.
Can you at least come on for the
draft presidential debate? Draft, that's a
draft
tough call.
presidential debate of another
Oh, look,
country?
look, by the way, too, I've got my goalie sweater on.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm.
See, this is the way they used to make sweaters for
Th-
goalies.
these are
so
sweet.
They'd catch pucks.
the sweaters are nice. Those are
Yeah,
nice.
see, that's
Catch
my
box.
problem. I'm torn.
Don't commit now,
Torn.
but I'm just
torn.
inviting you.
Yeah, okay, well, I'll probably
Okay.
be on. Yeah, it's
All
starts
right.
at 7.
This
so-
guy wants in.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we're
It's going to be to have our live reactions to our pick.
And we're going to be doing it remotely, right?
Well,
Or are we going to be doing it in here?
I was suggesting in here.
We can do it in here.
If not, at my place
Well,
or remotely.
I don't know if we can do it in here because they have shows at night.
Okay, so we're either at my place or remote.
What day is it?
It's a Friday, June 28th.
Yeah, see, they might have shows at night.
But my place is open.
We'd have to find out.
We got a lot of space, so
We'll check it out.
We can
okay.
do it at your place.
Just putting that out there for the folks.
and then I can leave.
All right, so let's
I've got to
also
watch. Well, maybe
we got to leave right now. Actually,
We'll see how excited I
Exactly.
am on draft day. I'm excited right now.
that's what I mean. It'd be more exciting to take it in with you guys.
Well,
Well, if you're excited right now, you better get home.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, I
and on
don't
that
know.
note,
Well, I don't know. I
he
mean,
shoots, he scores.
You guys mentioned it earlier. Anyway, I'm not.
Meow.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Okay, my name is Paul Calamere. This is Habsolutely coming to you live from downtown Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. The only Habs show in Canada on radio, anyway, internet radio, that's for sure.
Salut, mes
And
amis.
I'm
Bonjour.
here with Jean Fillion, Drew Iginla, and Paul Calamere. That's it. Drew Deeks, the number one superstar from YouTube.
Oh gosh, that's
Drew Deeks.
debatable.
And we're going to be signing off for now. Next week at noon, Habsolutely, we come back to you again. We're always here every Wednesday at noon. And we're going to be talking more trash about what's going on before that June 28th date, where we're going to make everybody happy with the draft picks. Right, Drew?
That's right. We'll make us nervous as heck first, but then we'll be happy after.
We're going to be going like this, and oh boy. And then all of a sudden it'll be like some defenseman where we're going, what? Like we did for the last
Welcome
2
to
years.
Montreal, Dickinson.
Yeah, like we did 2 years, for 2 years in a row now. Take care, everybody. Have a great day.
Ciao, ciao.
See you next week.